So today in my channeling of the Lost Mother, we're talking about knowing what you're fighting for, the role of justice and liberation, and being able to stand in your own truth and power as we enter this time that's a little bit chaotic and people are choosing to fight for others, fight for community, or they're choosing to separate from that and create something else. And all roles are worthwhile. All roles have honor and are needed as long as you're doing it with your awareness and presence. So I'm going to play the channeled message first, and then I'm going to come back and share my own thoughts, perspective, and interpretation about what they're sharing about justice and liberation. We want to bring through this message today. This is the Lost Mother, as well as all. We are seeing more of you taking on more time, more responsibility for your communities. This is a beautiful thing for you to do, to honor your communities around you, to fight for what you know is true within yourself. This time we are in now of change, of great shifts, of arriving to the point in time where you choose how you want to show up in the world, how you want to fight for the world, how you want to be. Is important, it is crucial. But we want to show you that as we watch you now do this, many of you do not know what you are honoring, what you are fighting for in the truest sense, and how it aligns with your truth. This is important because if you are fighting for something that is not your truth, something that you do not fully see, or if you are ignoring creating the peace that you want to see in the world, you are forgetting parts of yourself. You are not weaving into an interconnected whole that aligns with your soul and your purpose, that weaves in, unites with all. Justice and liberation go together. They are two parts of one whole, one spectrum of allowing you to be free. And there are different roles in this and fighting for this. It is a full spectrum of being physically in the fight, being the voice of change. It is also the people disrupting your world, asking you, what do you want? Who are you? Is what you see reflected in my actions where you want to be? And if not, what are you going to do about it? And there are those in the fight who are holding the space for you to come home to yourself, for you to heal. And there are those who are showing you how to choose, how to be more, how to awaken yourself to what you actually want. So yes, there is a dismantling, and there are people in those roles who are aware. There are people in those roles who it is their sole purpose to be there, who are not aware. And there are those whose role it is to not be involved in the same way, but they are still changing the world. They are still changing the energy on earth. It takes all roles, all people, all kinds. This is important for you to know, that as you evolve yourself, as you know yourself, as you choose what you want to create, you are not separate from those who are fighting a different fight. But you are creating the space for them to come home to when it is time. You are the hand reaching out to them in their darkness, pulling them up to the light, and their roles to disrupt, to fight, to voice the truth that they feel and see is an honorable role. It is a needed role. It is doing more on different levels than most of you know, most of you understand. And it has been a fight for thousands of years, cycles of darkness, of shadow, of disruption, of chaos, and cycles of light to teach you how to lead yourself home now. We want you to know what it is you stand for, what it is you fight for. And we want you to do it with your full awareness and consciousness so that as you do it, you can stand firmly in that truth. But also, so as you do it, you see what it is you're actually fighting for. This period of time is bringing through rage, chaos, and these on their own, in their truth, in their awareness and in their presence, are not anything to fear, to be ashamed of, but without presence, without consciousness and awareness of what the rage, what the chaos, what the actions are doing, that can be where the issues lie, how darkness unfolds from the unawareness of the attention behind the emotions, behind the feelings, behind what it is you're fighting for. Are you doing it out of love, out of service for the greater whole? And do you know what is beneath the surface? What it is you can't see? And through this time, as you choose what it is you want to create for yourself, you choose more harmony, you choose more peace, you choose more liberation. And you stand in your truth and your power. It gives others the permission to do the same. And for that change within you to ripple out to all those around you. This is our message today. We offer you this in order to see how you want to share your voice, how you want to share your knowings, how it serves others in their journey to know themselves more, to awaken themselves, to free themselves. And we also offer you this because we want you to know that all expressions, all roles are needed, and judging anyone else's role is not needed. You may choose how you align yourself and who you align yourself with, but judging the way others show up, others express themselves, is not needed. It takes a understanding of the greater work at play that is offering you the opportunities to know who you are, who the world is, who those are around you, and to hold love, acceptance, allowance of all expressions. It is hard now because you are not in harmony on a large scale, but the disharmony allows you to choose, allows you to decide, allows you the opportunity to know yourself more. And when there is more harmony created, you weave together in a unified force that works seamlessly together. We want you to hear your own sound, your own soul. Ask your sound, your soul, your truth to come through you more now and listen for the answers. Be aware, hold the space for them to come through, for you to know your soul. So thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed that. Before we get into my perspective and interpretation, I do want to share I am having a free event on April 29th. The keys of Inanna and Ereshkigal, the unfolding of your return. And this free event is part of my new Sacred Scream containers, which is all about helping you find your true voice, your true knowing, your power that you want to stand firm in and are able to do so without external influences affecting what you believe in and what you know about yourself. So it's finding your voice, finding your truth, finding your own knowing. The keys of Inanna and Ereshkigal, the free event, we're going to go over my perspective of the myth, what it's teaching us about reclaiming our power, stripping ourselves of power or roles or identities that may have been given to us or taken by us before we were fully aware, and then able to do so with our full consciousness, and then reclaiming our own power with more consciousness and awareness. So we'll be talking about my perspective of the myth and lessons learned, as well as doing a guided journey to help you gain clarity on who you are without the external influences, without the external beliefs and judgments and masks that you've taken or been given, and who you want to be in your own soul's sovereignty and truth. So I hope you join me for that on April 29th. I'll put it down in the notes below. So let's talk about my perspective about this justice, social justice, and liberation. It's actually been on my mind for a while, and I wrote a script to do a video about this before I did this channeling, which I kind of see this channeling as them nudging me to talk about it, which I do see that this is something that is happening in the collective, something that's very alive for the collective. It's very alive for me as well. So let's get into it. I am a part of communities and spaces where talking about current events, from politics to popular entertainment and culture, can sometimes be taboo topics. Luckily, the communities I'm a part of usually have a broader understanding, but I think there is still some things that need to be said about the role of justice and liberation today in a more human way, a more physical way, instead of purely energetic or purely from our broader understanding of the roles souls play here on earth. And to me, this is social justice, our roles in justice, reform, and paying attention to what needs to be seen. I'll admit that on my spiritual journey or psychic awakening journey, I went through a period of staying in my personal development bubble, not paying attention to the world around me. But I also see this as a part of the process to know myself, to know my own thoughts and stand firmly in my own knowing without letting the opinions, judgments of others, the identities of others, of external institutions influence who I am. It's a finding yourself so you know what it is that you want to scream about, what it is you want to fight for. And we all have our own role. And I do believe that some people's roles are to remain disconnected from what is happening in the world, to hold light and anchor it in, or spaces for you to come home to, like is mentioned in the channeling. But some have allowed their roles in spiritual spaces to influence their judgments of those who have different roles, and allowed themselves to ignore a lot of work that needs to be done in themselves and in others. I do feel like my conceptualization of this is still maturing and developing, as anyone's thoughts and opinions are always doing. But many of us who are aware of our work astrally, work we're doing in dream time, know that we're probably doing work that is considered justice work, liberation work, defense work. And if you know anything about galactics, you probably know that the Pleiadians, for example, probably aren't sitting around just thinking about love. Well, they may be thinking about love, but love takes all forms, including justice, including fighting for freedom and what is right. And we all want to be free. It's one of the driving forces behind the spiritual community, or the belief that it is leading to freedom. And we all want to be sovereign beings. And we all want the earth to be free. And if you consider yourself a starseed, an interplanetary soul, an angelic soul, you know that is why you are here. And until the earth is in harmony, we will always need people in all roles. The disruptor, the activist, we need those. The justice fighter, the protester. We need the people who are getting angry to wake up the ones who do not realize that they are not free. To wake up the ones who do not see they are being controlled or oppressed. We need the chaos in all forms now to either make us question everything or show us the cracks in the systems that need to be fixed, dismantled, or burned to the ground. And we need conscious people in every industry, every role to change the systems from within, or to wake more people to what needs to be changed. And we also need the energy healers and the self-care experts, the somatic healers, the trauma-informed practitioners, and spiritual teachers, for lack of a better word, to be there for them when they need us and when they need healing, when they need to come back home to themselves. And we need to understand that these are some people's roles, even if it's not what we choose for ourselves, even if it's not what aligns with our role. And it may not be my purpose to be in the fight physically, although I do it energetically, but my purpose is to heal, to share information, and to activate others. But I do not judge those whose role this is, because I perceive it to be low frequency or not high vibe enough, which is not part of my belief system, in case you're wondering. So I do not judge those whose role it is to physically be dismantling, to physically be changing the systems, to physically be creating new ways of being. And the key here is to be aware of yourself, to know yourself, so that you know what it is that you are fighting for. So you know how it fits into the greater whole, how it fits into the collective, what the collective is choosing, and to do it with intention and presence from a root of love and liberation, because you cannot have liberation without justice. And sometimes the truth, the layers that need to be seen to understand what it is that you're fighting for, require a much deeper awareness. And it is common for those in the love and light community to only want to focus on high frequency, not want anything to do with anger, rage, even social justice and civic duty. And while I see their point, I think there is major disregard for their own growth happening and for what they are here to do. And in some cases, major lies and programming in the spiritual community. And I don't think there is anything wrong with those who are holding light, holding more love. And I know that is some people's role, but it has to come from a deep place of inner knowing and not from a place of what you've been told that is your purpose, that is your path, that is the mission you are walking for. And I do believe there is a purpose in separating, to do the inner work, to know yourself, to learn how to be in your own energy, and figure out your purpose. But then there is also the coming back to your community, even if it's small and local, or even if it's larger, because sharing your truth, your knowing, helps others change. And avoiding those emotions in yourself, the anger, the rage, other emotions you consider to be low frequency, only create separation within yourself and within your own being, because you're ignoring parts of yourself. But again, the key is knowing which emotions are yours, which beliefs are yours, and releasing the ones that are not, the ones that have been given to you or put upon you. And with any emotion, it is being present with them, knowing the intention behind them, what they are showing you and what they are teaching you, so that you can speak, share, create with your true voice, your true knowing, and whatever role that you came here to fill, to be, allowing others to fill and play their roles without judgment. So I hope that all makes sense. If this resonates with you, please comment below. Tell me your thoughts. Share, like, and subscribe. If you're interested in identifying your true voice, unleashing it, and casting off all the beliefs that are not yours, all the energetic imprints, the past life patterns, check out Keys of Inanna and Ereshkigal, as well as the Sacred Scream containers, doing one-on-one and launching a few other things under the Sacred Scream that you may be interested in. And I'll see you next time.